Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto channel. So up on the lift here, we've got this '05 Chevrolet. It's got the big 5.3 liter in it. It's a two-wheel peeler. And in the black box, we've got a transmission. Another transmission. As a matter of fact, I just threw this one in there on Friday, and it made it till Saturday. That was as long as she lasted. Now every gear is forward, including neutral. Something happened in the training. It's not really my concern as to what it is. It's a brand new remanufactured transmission. I should clarify that, not brand new, but it is a reman unit. Got it done at Advance Auto, and it lasted about 30 miles approximately. We put it in, thing worked spectacular. Took it for a drive that Friday, called the customer, shipped it. He drove it around a little bit, drove it a bit on Saturday, parked it, went to get back in it, and end of the road. I called the company that makes them, or that remanufactures them, so they immediately shipped us out another one. Apologize, blah, blah, blah. They give you a minor reimbursement to change them out. They don't pay your full labor rate, which I was, aware of in the beginning. But it's kind of a gamble you take, and here it is to haunt me, but it is what it is. So we've got a tranny over there. We've got a case of fluid. I thought, heck, I'm losing money on it. Might better bring along the camera and show you guys how it's done. It's like deja vu, man. I freaking hate doing things twice, especially when it's not my fault. We do what we do. But at any rate, we got to start all over again here. Do a good job. So we're gonna have to take and pull the caps off the rear drive shaft here. This is a big long one, so it's got a carrier bearing up here where you guys can't see. Right there, so it's a carrier bearing or center support bearing, whatever you want to call it. So we'll take and bust that loose, and we'll slip our drive line out of here. And being two-wheel drive, man, this thing is gravy, really. I guess the only difference between this and a four-wheel drive is just going to be the transfer case and the front drive shaft. So essentially, if you're doing a 4L60 transmission, which that's what this is, in a four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive, the only extra step is to unplug a couple of the things on the transfer case, speed sensor, actuator, if it's electric shift, vent hose, and then like 6 bolts or 8 bolts or something like that in the front drive shaft, and then take your transfer case off. Then after that, it's all the same. So I guess with that being said, we'll get to work. So we're going to take and pop the shift linkage off real quick first. I want to take and throw the transmission in neutral so I can rotate the drive shaft. Right now the key's off, it's in park, and the battery is unhooked. Long way there, big fella. Come on there, you stinker. This slip joint up there is a little stiff, so we have to kind of fudge it in there a bit. Gloves made it about the first minute and a half. I know we've talked about it on my channel before, but just a reminder, never, ever, ever buy these gloves. These things are garbage. There's the kind they are. Absolute rubbish. So don't buy these. I'm not turning it into a glove store because you guys already told me which ones to buy, but the fact of the matter is I picked up like a case of these. I'm thinking about just heaving them or giving them away or something. They're worthless. Garbage. My favorite, plain old latex gloves when I choose to wear them. They seem to work the best. I don't like real thick gloves, 20 mil, 30 mil or whatever they are. These things, great. Super cheap, work great. Back to business. What are we, 15? Man, Mrs. O got me some new hot cocoa. Woo! Chocolate, salty, caramel. Man, the stuff is only good for about 1 cup, man. That gives you the jitters, you know. Stick that nut back on there, just about a thread or so. Oh, gotta remember to get a new lock ring for this impact. Well, don't worry about it. Can't get it started. We'll just hold it. Close the socket. Oh, great. Alright, I'm gonna go get a bucket so we can see if it's gonna pee on the back of our transmission here. I don't think it will, but if you don't have a bucket, you're guaranteed it will. A little bit of dribble. One thing that needs to be done is the exhaust needs to be removed. And in order to do that, we need to remove the oxygen sensors. So we're going to take and get all those unplugged. There's 4 of them total. So we got this one back here behind the converter. And then, yeah, I think there's 4, right? Yeah, another one over here behind the converter. And then the 2 out trains. We'll get those undone, or at least get the exhaust out of here. Which I gotta remember, man, you'd think I'd remember this only being like a week old. I can't remember, I think we had to like jack the tranny up or something to get to actually get this Y pipe out of there. I can't remember, I know it was some kind of process like that. It's pretty snug getting this Y pipe out if I remember right. I know when we took this apart originally, a lot of these clips that hold the O2 sensors on were broke, so we ended up zip tying these back up to the harnesses. I'm gonna go through and put all our zip ties. Get the locks back out of them here. Alright, there we go. That's out. I guess while we're right here, we can unplug our Prindle switch. He's got kind of a unique lock on. There we go. That's out. We'll go get that other O2 sensor. This is the one on the passenger side in the front. There's that. Alright, so that's that one. It's one of the few that did not break the lock yet. Not the lock, but the actual retainer. This one has a clip that goes over the wiring harness, so that one's a little easier to remove without breaking it. I wonder if the bolts that hold the Y pipe on, if they'll come right off now without heating them again. I'll give it a little try here before we bust out the torch. Truck has been run, you know, obviously since we put these on, but I don't know if they'll come right loose or not. Oh heck yeah, that's sweet, that saves some time. Typically, you've got to heat these. And of course, if anybody's watched the Chevy truck engine series, I don't know if that's come out yet or not. You'll know that. You have to heat these. That's awesome. Look at that. First time for everything. See if we can get this side just the same. Passenger side here. Feels like they're even better. Maybe I didn't even tighten them. That's the problem. They were tight. Like a tighter. Oh man, just hit me in the head. Need to wear a hard hat around this place. So we went ahead and snapped these bolts off last time we were here, so we don't have to worry about that now. These ones usually break even when you heat them, but they're just studs, so you just pound them out. So we just got regular nuts and bolts in there now, so that makes it a little bit easier on the second go around. Just some 10 millimeter, just look like 10 by, I don't know, what are they, 20s, 10 by 20s. Nuts and washers, like I say, if you bust these off, they're just pressed in there like a wheel stud. So you just take the air hammer and just give them a whack and out they come. Like I say, if I remember right, there's something about this that you think the Y pipe comes right out, but it doesn't. just making that up. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. So I got the training jack here. We'll get that pumped up. We'll lift up the training. We got to pull this cross member out anyhow, so we might better just do that right now. Because we're almost done. We just got to pull the starter, zip some bell housing bolts out of it, torque converter bolts obviously. Get them out of our way. That's it. Out she comes. Transmission will pretty much hang once you get loose anyways. You got to get it hanging down in order to get to the bell housing bolts, just because that's the way it's made. I don't know. Just how you do it. So, this is pretty much about a textbook transmission change as you can get. Kind of like doing the engine in that vibe, you know, just gravy job, really. So we'll get our bolts loosened up here. So these are 21 mil socket wrench. And one thing you got to keep in mind too is these are different lengths, side to side. See, there's transmission fluid blowing all over the place over here. Supposed to be blowing out of the vent. That's what it looks like. And then in order to put these bolts in, you have to put the bolts in before you put the exhaust back on. Don't make that mistake. I heard there's a guy that did that and had to take the exhaust back off. I don't, just rumor. Rumor, that's what I hear. So these are the longer of the two. I suppose it's probably only if you have a flex fuel vehicle. These are the shorter ones, so there's the difference there. About an inch. And that should be a 15 up and on this transmission. There it is. So technically, you should be able to lift the transmission up all the way like that. Now, rotted fuel lines breaking on us. Oh crap. Let's see. We got a wire clip here, it looks like. There she goes. Our exhaust is going to be hanging up on that, so I don't have to worry about that hitting in the dome, you know. Set this to the side. Now I think get this out of here. But man, if I remember right, it was something ridiculous about getting this out. I don't remember what it was. Come on, baby, come back to me. What was it here? I know some trick. Some trick up your little sleeve. Hit my training jack, there's one problem. So bad that bit. That one's picking up right there. There it is. There she is. The baby is born. Alright, now for a tranny jack where it belongs. Whoa. Fancy. Now I'll get the Jiffy tight connector remover. Yeah, there we go. We'll take the training lines off side transmission. Fish your wires around. Well, actually, you know what? That's going to make it dribble. We'll leave those on. Experience tells me let's not be walking through the puddle of training fluid if we can avoid that. We'll unhook everything but that. Unhook those last, and out she comes. Go right back on this side here. We'll unhook our shift cable. So on the shift cable, there's typically a metal, like fork, I guess you would say, that goes between these two notches. On all Chevy trucks in New York State, that little guy is always missing. It's just a little wedge, I guess, so to speak. So when this is clicked in, so you've got these two ears that you can press, I guess it just prevents them from being pushed in. 90% of the transmissions I do, that piece is missing or deteriorated. If you're really worried about it that much, you can push this in and just thread a zip tie through there and zip tie it. But in my experience, I've never seen one come unhooked without it. So that's just my 2 cents on that little guy. So we'll just stick our cable out of the way. What else we got over here? We've got a little fastener here we have to remove. I think it's 8mm. Yeah, it's 8mm. I gotta get a socket for that. That just holds the wiring and the fuel lines there. It's like a little wood screw. So that goes in the side of the tranny there. Gets our wire harness. These two-wheel drives, they ain't got much of nothing. We got a little plastic guard up here we can take off while we're on this side. That should be a 10 mil. That one on the starter side too. I think the hardest part about this whole job is putting a starter in and out. We've got one connector over here on the passenger side of the tranny. Just kind of got I can't see anything, but these just pinch together with your fingers. Just pinch them there and then pull it off. They come off relatively easy. Speed sensor at the back. And that's that, Jack. We'll take and bust the starter loose here. 13mm. Probably gonna have to use a chrome socket. This one here is real tight. Get those out, and we've got that black plastic piece again on this side. Should be another 10mm right in there somewhere. There she is. There's that. Now this starter, I'm gonna leave attached to all the wires. But we'll just take and peel it back, kind of shove it back out of the way. And I think in order to do that, we'll unhook this oil level sensor here, and then the crank sensor behind it. If I can get to this, it's got the most foolish lock thing on it. It's like, these things are buried, they're a pain. Well, I'll have to get a different pick, but you gotta get it up under there where you can't see and release this tab. They I don't know why they did what they did. I'm not sure. I ask myself that about GM all the time. Man, I'll get a different pick. There it is. So yeah, if you've never done one of them before, you always got to get a mirror to look at it. It's too hard to explain, but it's just, I'm pretty sure I don't know the battery. Now that I think about it. Well, we'll find out here in a minute if we touch something we're not supposed to. Well, anyhow, that didn't slide back too bad that time. We're just going to leave that little guy right there. We ain't even going to unhook it all the way, because all we need to do is get in here to the bell housing bolts. Yeah, to the bell housing, torque converter bolts. And of course, I Loctited them last time, so I'm going to undo this crank sensor wire. That way it's not yanking on those so hard. I think we'll be in good shape. So this next part would be super difficult to record, but basically I'm just gonna reach up in here with a bar, catch a flywheel tooth, and I'm just gonna push it until we get torque converter bolts. There's only 3 of them, and because I gotta stand in the only spot that you can actually see, I'm not gonna show this to you guys, but just pull the starter out, you spin it over, it takes a 15mm wrench, or it looks like a 10mm socket head, Allen, and then just take them out. It's pretty much that easy. These are, there's only 3 of them, and it doesn't matter where they go back. It's not a one-way pattern. They'll line up in either case. You don't have to worry about marking these ones, you know, like we did in the Pontiac video, which in that case it didn't matter either. But it's a good habit to get into anyways, but this one, as a matter of fact, I know is, you know, it's good. Man, the hot chocolate is just pour me up. I gotta stick to my tea. Of course, these things are gonna be like crazy tight because we Loctited them. Just like a good boy. And of course, torque them to, you know, factory specs. You know me. Ow, damn. Who's seen that coming? I did. There you go, baby. So I just got to do this pretty much 3 times and got to wrench these things all the way to the end because, like I say, they are Loctited. Got the old Loctite that was on there, and then of course you got the new Loctite that I put on. Just ripped my glove. Sustained injury. So now I got it cracked loose. I'll probably grab a 10mm Allen socket. Try to zip that out. So there it is. And by 10mm, I mean 8, in case you guys didn't know my conversion. Whoa. This is dangerous, one-handed. All that for the sake of YouTube right there, folks. So there it is. That's what them bolts look like. Like I say, it's 8mm, not 10mm. Then they got the 15 hex on the outside. So I'm going to continue on with the other 3. Now, because this engine doesn't have a time and chain tensioner, I'm not really concerned about what way I'm rotating this thing. You know, right or wrong. Doesn't matter, I guess. My opinion. Somebody probably does. Let's see if I can do this here without getting hurt. One hand. Oh, where's the drop on that? There ain't. I don't know if this thing got enough meat to pull that out or not. Come on, little guy. There we go. Yeah, baby. There she is. There's 2. This light's about ready to get some flying lessons. Whoa. There it is. I like that, and use my good hand. My right hand used to be my good hand. You get me, I'm gonna punch somebody. If you ever stick this light somewheres, you try to get it down, you can never get it unhooked. You try to hook it on something, you never get it to stay. Just kind of like the way it works. Seriously. There it is, baby. quarters, man. Story of my life. I'm always tangled up in here. So what we'll do now, listen to the phone ring. We'll let this baby tip down. Now back in the day, that used to be a problem because you'd hear this little crack. Well, that was your distributor cap. But now we don't have to worry about too much now. Looks like we're gonna need a 13. Ooh, I thought she was dripping on me. 13 and a 15 and a long extension. And we're home free. Let me get that center light here so it can fall down on us. I'll give you a little rundown on what we're going after. We've got our 2 bell housing bolts under here, one on the left, one on the right. And all the rest of them are studs. Well, they're bolts with little studs on the end of them. So we got the one there holding that tranny dipstick tube on. And then up on top, you've got a blank hole up there. Nothing goes in that hole. And you've got your other one there. Let's see, I don't know what you guys can see. There's another one that holds the fuel line bracket on. So I can move our light for you so you can see. Come around this side of the tranny, there's just a couple more on that side. So that's what I'll be going after if you guys can't see. This one's pretty accessible. Unlike the engine we just did there in that 02. This newer body style, this was 04 up or whatever it is with the slanted eye headlights, they give you a little more room in the transmission tunnel in my opinion. So we'll go at this with our 13 millimeter first. A long extension here, and we'll get our nuts off on the that one there is on the floor. Then we got the vent tube. And then we've got one more on the gas line / wiring harness bracket. So we're gonna reach up there and grab that. That one is on the floor, so that's good. 2 for 2. I'll buzz the 2 off the bottom of the tranny real quick. Got those 2 loose. And then what we'll do is we'll do the old switcheroo here. Oh, lovely. Where do you go? The socket disappeared. Always happens. So there's that. So now what we'll do is we'll buzz out all the transmission bell housing bolts. Ah, crap, we gotta get our dipstick out of the way, don't we? And what we'll do is we'll leave one in there. Just are you kidding me? Was this the drop it video? Yeah, all I do is drop sockets. Oh crap! My socket just broke. What'd you do? Broke my socket, Terry. Really? Yep. Did you need that? I do need that. Thank you. Yep. I got a new socket. Alright, whew. We're at plan B. Had to assemble our own swivel now. It's got a little longer socket on it. Yeah, the pin finally broke in that socket. I think that sucks because I don't think Mac makes this pin style anymore. They make that stupid square hex thing that doesn't rotate worth a crap. Well, we'll see. Anyhow, enough pouting. Let's get back where we were. Dang, now this long socket ain't gonna fit in here. There's another bell housing bolt to the floor. There's another one. So what we gotta do, where do we gotta do? Where were we? Hey, you know what? Oh no, I was gonna say we could put our socket back together. There's the spring that goes in it. There's the pin, but there's the other broken half of the pin. Oh, we gotta wiggle the these fuel line bracket and the vent hose bracket out of the way. So I'll get them wiggled off and then we'll get the bell housing bolts out. Oh man. Funny thing is, Josh just broke a swivel socket like 10 seconds ago. Now I broke one. Must be something in the air. It's self-made auto. Don't fall over, little buddy. come off there, you little guy. Just barely reach it. Okay, there she is. Yeehaw, we'll leave that top training bolt in. Is it on? Yeah. And what we'll do is I'll unhook the transmission bolt that holds. It goes. I wish I could show you guys better, but this is, I mean, I gotta be where I gotta be. And I gotta reach her all the way from the back. Sometimes you gotta work from the back side, you know? There's that one. And see if we can get that one out. Just gotta be careful. I mean, this thing, the fuel lines are all rotted, so, you know, I don't wanna make a mountain out of a molehill here. Now we gotta take the transmission dipstick loose. We'll get our bucket ready. I don't remember last time if I drained the transmission. I don't think that I did. We gotta wiggle that up out of there. And we'll take that bolt out and we're out of here. See, I can't wiggle this baby up out of here. Come on, little buddy. Oh, there she is. There she is. Okay. Now, if I remember right, this dipstick tube will not come out. No matter what you do. You can mess with it, force it, whatever. You gotta remember to put it back in before you put the transmission in, otherwise you'll get boned on that. I remember doing that. I don't know if we've put out the Chevy truck video or not, but if we haven't, you guys are getting another Chevy truck video coming out. Same thing when we were putting the engine in that, you know. So now what we'll do is we'll get these training lines unhooked. Let me get my Jiffy tight connector release tool. So this is the E-clip or Jiffy tight connector release tool. It's got the 3 little ledges on it there that go in these training lines. I know you guys can't see this, but I'll show you when we get it down. Anybody that's ever fought with one of these will like to have the tool that does it. Assuming I can get them undone here. They've got a little bit of pressure on them just because of the angle of the training. I think. No, I didn't show this in the Chevy, the engine video, did I? We just changed them because we're running out of time. There's that one. And I'll get this other training line off. Even with the tool, these things can be kind of a bit of a pain. Yeah, these are called Jiffy tight connectors. There. Now they're both loose. We're ready to pull this training out. Oh, hang on there. Here we go. Get my socket. We'll get that transmission bolt that is by the dipstick tube, if we can. Got this ridiculously long socket now. I can sneak it up in there. Come on, baby. Some sparks. There's that one for the floor. And now we got our last one up here. Make sure you got some tension on the jack, because you're about ready to own this baby. There she is. Yeah. This should be the last one. Let me get my hose out of there. One last thing to trip over. It's stuck in that train jack. And yeah, we should be free. Just like this little guy back. What was that? What was that noise? Anything? Oh my gosh, there we go. Wire harness is stuck there a little bit. We'll take our dipstick tube out of the way. Don't forget to put this in. You'll be very mad if you don't. What else we got? Got our training vent tube we forgot to unhook. peasy.
That would be a 3/8, right?
I think so, yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, there it is. And we're at a good starting point. You can see these things are gravy to pull out of these 2-wheel drives. And, you know, even 4 drives for that matter. Like I said, the only difference is transfer case. You know, I just got to take that out. So, you know, it's going to add an extra hour or so. Other than that, that's it. So now we got to take and unbox our new one, throw that up on the stand. We got to grab I got a little can of cooler fresh here. We'll blast out the cooler lines. You know, make sure that flows good again. And we got to swap some stuff over. We got to swap our tail housing over. We've got to get our pintle switch and this little bracket, our vent hose. We'll get that swapped over. Other than that, that's it. Comes pretty well complete in the box. And fresh DuPont overhaul. It comes with a new torque converter, so we don't even have to pull that out. Got that little guy in there. That's it, but I gotta stop for a minute. I see this lady just pulled in with her Subaru and the engine lights on, so I'm gonna go check that out. Then we'll come back and pick right back up on this. All right, well that escalated quickly. The Subaru is done. Should have made a video on it. It's pretty sweet. I got some nice current ramp waveforms out of the coil. So misfire on 1 and 2. Ended up just being a faulty coil, but it was a coil that has a transistor built into it. So it had some neat waveforms with current ramp and the ignition trigger, and you could see the missing event. And of course, being a waste spark system, you know, 2 dead cylinders, thing barely ran. But anyhow, I didn't do a video on it, so, but I'm sure we'll get another one. Pretty typical MO on a ignition coil, but it's always fun to take a look at them on the scope and actually, you know, see the failure without just, you know, playing Swaptronics and give 100% confirmation. And I put that coil on that car back in 2014, so it was a warranty job. Anyways, I did a head gasket job on that car, and so I just had to Advance Auto send us up another high quality automotive electronic part. But the good news was it was BWD, which is usually, you know, abbreviation for junk. And the good news was when I opened up the new BWD box, it had a Subaru coil in it, which is spectacular. So I was really happy to see that. So maybe the hidden blessing there. But in any case, we got to get back on this Chevy. It's almost quitting time. I got things to do at home after work, so we're probably going to end up cutting this video a smidge short. But I do want to get the cooler flushed out, so I figure we can do that real quick. We'll get all the old nasty fluid blown out of there and make sure that's all happy and good and clean and bright and shiny. Maybe we'll get some parts swapped over here on our new tranny. I haven't even looked in the box. It might not even be the right tranny in there. I don't know. Hopefully it is. Maybe we'll get some stuff swapped over and we'll just slam this baby in real quick in the morning and move on with our day. So what we'll do, got a couple pieces of 3/8 rubber hose right over those barbs. They should stay on there for us, hopefully. Brand new training lines. And then we'll grab our flush and we'll just, you know, we'll spray it in one end, you know, let it all blast out here, and then spray it in the other end. Just keep going back and forth with it, and just make sure we got cooler flow and make sure we get all the old fluid out of there in case there's any contaminations in it. We should be good. So I like to do with this stuff is I'll shove that tube up in there. This stuff usually comes with a fitting on the end for like a, I don't know, just like a regular steel line, you know. So we'll take and put that on there with a clamp. Sometimes that helps hold it just a smidge better anyways. Not always, but sometimes. I'll put a clamp on that. Should have got a longer clamp, right? Alright, give it a little shakeroo. You don't want to have a bucket ready. A lot of times this thing really comes blasting out of there. So it comes out nice and easy, but when it gets to the end, it'll usually get kind of raw here. Oh, this ain't too bad so far. It always gets you. There she goes. That's where you get a mess. Feels like our can's losing its snug. There she goes. She's coming out pretty clear there. All right. Yucky looking stuff here. Then what we'll do, it's still kind of drizzling. Whoop, moving you guys around. I'm gonna take and just switch hoses on you. And we'll flush whatever is remaining back in our can back in the other direction. Then we'll just blow it out with a blow nozzle and let it dry, and we should be in good shape. Not much left in our can. Alright, let's see. I might have been squeezing it a little much. Takes a while to get all work through the system here. If you doubt your cooler, you think you have tons of metal contamination, you know, just replace the radiator, put an external cooler on it, you know, something like that. But that phone for me, Hannah? Oh, okay. Yeah, this stuff's coming out nice and clear. This stuff usually does a pretty good job. I've used it in a lot of cases like this. But well, that's pretty much it for the can. So I had to get the phone and go back. Trouble. I left my other blow nozzle at home. I took it home. I needed it at the house because I couldn't find my one at home. Doesn't matter. I guess we can get it either way. Looking the other way, I think I got a rubber tip blow nozzle over there. I do. All right. That's why you don't take tools home. This stuff dries out like brake cleaner, basically. I think we're pretty well good. I think that's good. We got all the nasty stuff out of it. Like I say, if you really, if you had a lot of metal contamination, you're going to want to take and just change the radiator or trainee cooler. In this case, it doesn't have an external transmission cooler. Just the radiator is all. There we go. On the four-wheel drives, we'll have a three-line system, cooler up front, just like we did in the other Chevy video, assuming we've already played it, where we change the engine. I throw a couple cooler lines on that, but that's good. Our dowel pins are already all never seized up, and that's why the transmission came apart so easy. So we'll go swap some stuff over and call it good. Let's see if this one. There she is. She's like the old one. Feeling strong, Hannah? Huh?
Maybe.
Maybe? Come over on that. Scram right out of that shaft there. There you go. Sweet. Okay, do the heavy one. All right, we got some stuff swapped over. This one did. Fancy. Okay. Let's see that over there. And that. Great. Get some tools. I'll tell you, trying to make a video at 10 minutes to 5. Well, Monday's pretty tough. Everybody and their brother stopping in and picking up their cars and all that. I'm taking blasts out this vent. I know I had some transmission fluid oozing out of it. I'll go clean that out. What we got right here? Where's all my tools here? Oh, it's right here. Broke a socket. I have to use this one, I guess. So they got a big warning, not to use air tools on that, so. Went for cordless, Right? Is that what they mean? I doubt it. So this is our neutral safety switch or our primal switch. Usually the shaft is all rusty, so they come off really hard, but not in this case. And they are adjustable. Sometimes they will actually have, marks on them that tell you where neutral is, and the factory one would have had, you'll buy it and it'll have this metal plate in here that holds it. I think Brian's Mobile just did a video on one of these actually, so if you want to see what a brand new one looks like, you can check that out. We're just going to transfer it to our old one, or our new transmission. We're going to line up where our bolt heads were. And we'll double check it with the scan tool, but I'm certain we'll be right on the money or pretty darn close initially. So we'll just slip that on and put our bolts back in it. We should be really, really close. We'll put our shift linkage back on the new transmission. This is our linkage for the shift cable. Just swap that over. It takes Torx bits, and usually them suckers are right full of rust, all other kind of crap, so you gotta dig them out. At least on the first go around, but we've already done that, so. Makes it a lot easier, I'll tell you. And we got to pull our training mount off to get the extension housing. There's some bolts that are kind of hidden behind it. This thing will have enough mustard with that extension. Yep. We'll just be careful. That's our MO around here anyways. Careful, safety. Right now?
Yeah,
Safety
safety
third, that's right. Exactly what I taught you. So it came with a new seal, so we'll get the new seal. Man, this transmission stinks. This thing is so fried that it's gonna stink up my whole shop with nasty transmission fluid. And then we just have to swap over our cooler lines. I'll get a wrench for those. Grab our dipstick. Got a little rubber for the dipstick. We'll be on our way. So this thing comes with a new rear main seal and a new bushing for the tail shaft and a new rubber for the dipstick tube. I'm not going to do the tail shaft bushing and seal again, simply because I did it last time I was in. This thing's only got 30 miles on it, so we're not going to waste our time doing that. But we will put a new seal here just to be on the safe side. And we'll put the new rubber in the dipstick tube. We'll get this all put on. I just took and hosed that out with our good friend Brake Clean. I should have showed it, but big time constraint. I want to get out of here, so we just want to get this thing wrapped up so I can pop it in the morning. Let's get this on here. We'll get that torqued down. I grabbed our cooler line fittings. So these have those 3 little ears in it. I don't know if you guys can see that. And that's where our Jiffy type connector release tool went. It goes in there and you rotate it and it actually pushes those 3 ears open. For years, we always just, you know, you'd reach behind here with a pick and you just pull that E-clip off there. But evidently that's not the right way. So, or they came out with tools, which, you know, they make it easier, but if that connector's right full of, you know, garbage, then it makes it quite difficult. Or if it's a steel connector, it's all rusty, you know, you just cut the line. Oops, wrong bolt. The transmission stinks. So we'll get these torqued down, we'll throw our mount back on. I'll blast out that hose, get all the old sludge out of that. We'll be good to go. Mounts, these things can come off really brutal. First time, they sound just like they're stripping out of, you know, Loctite and aluminum and oxidation. So. This thing's peeing all over my floor. This has little straps here on the torque converter, so you got to get those off and transfer them. And the little plugs to our collection. Put that one there. Here's our new rubber. Stick that in. What did I do with it? I just showed you guys one of these and now I lost it. What the thunder? Well, these are brand new. Otherwise, you'd want to possibly change that O-ring that's on there. Where the heck did it go? Where'd you go, little guy? Oh, it's over here. We'll get these on. And then the other thing we're going to want to do is double check our pressure test port here on the side of the transmission. This transmission, if it would have lasted, and I didn't double check that, so what I did is I took it, when I put this one in originally, I fired it up, man, that thing was just pissing all over the place, and so they never tightened it, so you gotta double check this stuff when you get these reman trainees. What the heck, these don't want to screw in. Maybe it's just that one. Yeah, you get these reman trainees, you know, double check little things like that, because it's probably the last piece to go on, you know, if they take it off the dyno. Oh, you gotta be kidding me, if these holes are freaking boogered up or something. These ones threads right in. These gotta be something different. They're not either. These ones have threads that are recessed for the O-ring. So they thread right in, no sweat. We got a flashlight here. Yep, these ones are different. These are threaded all the way up to the end. It does not take this style quick disconnect. Awesome. So it must be a different style case or something, or it takes a different quick connect. Jeez, it's always something, man. You might better just get a junkyard transmission. That way you know you have it, it works. This remanufactured crap, this is what we deal with all the time. It did not come with, with new ones. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So this takes a totally different style. Yeah, these don't even attempt to start. Jeez. So here's the old junk transmission. You can see how these are machined, like right on the edge of that lip for this O-ring. So when they screw in, they screw in nicely. The O-ring will seal right on the end. Okay. So that's how that style is made on this case. So we come over to the new one, and you can see our threads run all the way out to the edge. So that's a totally different style. Quick connect. This must take something that maybe seals here on the outside of the transmission. I'm not sure, but the beauty of it is we are 5 past 5, so everybody's closed. I got a full book tomorrow. Truck stuck on my lift. Story of my life. All right, well, I just looked at my transmission line connector chart. I got a couple ordered for the morning from Napa. I'll try to call these ding-dongs and see what they say, but it's probably like an older case or something. I don't know, because they see here 96 to 04, there's one, and 05 up, there's a different one. I don't know. It's just stuff like this kind of burns me. I need my lift first thing in the morning. I wasn't going to do a YouTube video because this is going to be like an hour job. Wham, bam, bino. But at least you guys get to see some of the crap I get to deal with. So, alright, Vanessa Auto, thanks for ruining my night and my morning and probably most of my day tomorrow. Right on. So we'll pick up on this when we get the right stuff.